What's popping? What's happening? Merry Christmas to you all. Hope everything is going well. Hope you woke up this morning and had a good morning. I hope that you're going to have a good day. I will have a few moments with you, but I definitely didn't want to let Christmas go by without speaking to you all and seeing how the day was going and see how your morning's going and say Merry Christmas in the flesh myself. We're going to make sure we have a couple of on holiday lives. So right now is the Christmas live. Then we'll also do New Year's, and I'm going to go into a whole bunch of stuff on New Year's is what we're looking forward to. But one of the most important things is we just finished the Merry Christmas to you as well. We just finished the first round of the Wolfpack F1 Grudge Racing Championship Series. So I want to send a big congratulations out. I want to send a big congratulations out to the first podium finishers and a big appreciation out to all drivers that participated. So right now, currently, the first winner of round one, the first winner ever actually of the championship series hosted here at Wolfpack is S450 Rider, collecting 25 points for first place and an additional 1 point for the fastest lap. Big shout out, Merry Christmas to Sylvia Witt Kelly. Thank you very much for loving the hat. Wiry Supreme collects a second place podium finish with 18 points, and So Fresh manages to get that third and last final step on the podium for third place. Hillian, Chaos Druid, Will I Am, Raz, Wildcat, Racer X210, and Guess Why Ben all also collected points as they were in that bottom finish tiers. And then a couple of drivers outside of collecting points. So yes, a very good and exciting event. If any corrections are needed to be made, trust me, they will be made. If you see something, we'll go over that. But it was excellent. It was a good time. Also, don't forget these drivers are competing for a very big grand prize, over $1,000 worth of sim racing equipment. A Fanatec wheel, Fanatec base, which is going to be PlayStation, Xbox, and PC compatible, and the Fanatec wheels. The main winner is going to get all that. Jeff, what's going on, man? So very good event. Went very well for the first time. We have 9 more rounds to go to decide who that main winner is going to be. There are also going to be prizes for second, third, and fourth, as well as probably other prizes coming depending. The mechanic is supplying the honey buns. Driver of the day was So Fresh, got driver of the day, so he will get a honey bun and an F1 time attack card sent to him as well. And every driver of the day for every event will be getting that. So let's just get into some of the things that I wanted to come here and kind of speak about right now, and that is Formula One versus FIA. It seems like there is a struggle, a power struggle. I'll say a power struggle. It seems like there's a struggle that's really starting to amplify. And Jeff, big shout out to you. Jeff, ain't seen my bro in a minute. What's going on? If you're a green badge or a blue badge, you are eligible to compete in the championship racing series. Just make sure you get into the Discord, contact Will or Blue Diva, and they will add you into the championship server so that you can see the points, you can see the handbooks, you can see all of that. But as I was saying, there is a groundswell that is continuously growing, and I don't think it's new, but I think it's hitting a growth spurt at this point in time between Formula One teams and the FIA. We already talked about Zach Brown and his letter that was posted on McLaren's official webpage, and some of those topics that Zach spoke to were about the unfairness, or at least FIA doing something to breed fairness in competition. And what he was alluding to, I wish he would have just put an address on it by saying, I am specifically talking about the union between Red Bull and AlphaTauri. That's what he was talking about. So this situation is not the first to come. The cost cap situation was another one. And the new team entry is also another front that is being fought. So there are several battle fronts that are being fought in versus with FIA and Formula One. Okay, you got the cost cap situation, that's a battlefront. You got the new team entry, that's a battlefront. Now you have a team principal in McLaren, a CEO and Zach Brown from McLaren talking out, and that's a battlefront. Okay, so with that being said, a lot of these points are being hit, and these are some concerns. And I do agree. I agree with the overall concept of a cost cap. A cost cap is there so that no team can fairly, and I'm not going to say unfairly because it's fair. If you have the money and you can spend it, but that no team can excessively spend an over amount of money to overpower other teams. Therefore, the concept is competition should be level or within reason. The problem with that is this, and so many people I've seen say it in the comment section, they've said stupid things like Mercedes breached the cost cap. There was no cost cap when Mercedes was spending an abundant amount of cash into developing their car. There was no cost cap. There was no regulation saying that they couldn't spend that amount of money, nor was there a regulation in place that didn't say other teams couldn't do the same thing. So all teams could spend the money. The thing was, big bank take little bank. Mercedes had big bank. Red Bull also has big bank. Ferrari also has big bank. So it really impacted teams like Haas, like Williams, okay? Even at that point in time, BW Alpine, those teams, okay? So that's fair, though. That's not unfair. At some point in time, maybe it should have been looked at as if, okay, well, if you can't spend the money to develop in the sport and win, it is what it is. Then if another team comes along that can spend the money, maybe we just replace you. And maybe that should be what should be under, maybe that should be under consideration when it comes to Haas. Okay. Haas is a team that since they've entered with Mercedes Manor becoming the 11th team and the Mercedes Manor boom, drops off, Haas becomes that 11th team and then the 10th team on the grid. If you can tell me what you think Haas has really added to the sport of Formula One, give me 5 things that they've really added that are valuable for the sport of Formula One. They've been a back marker. They've been a catastrophe. They've been horrendous when it comes to sponsorship. They've been horrible when it comes to driver pairings. They've been ridiculously underperforming when it comes to updates. And they underperform and don't perform well on track consistently. Their drivers wreck. Their power units have been unreliable. So there's 5 things that I could say why Haas shouldn't be there to begin with. But the cost cap does, in a sense, help them. But in another turn, the flip of the coin, it is maybe going to hinder teams like Williams. Williams, like I've always said, has been a team that has fallen from the heavens and one day will return. I think we saw a new breath of fresh air in Williams racing this year. Largely credit to, in driver performance, Albon, not Logan. If it was 2 Logans in a Williams car, Williams would really not know what they have. If 2 Logan drivers were driving both Williams racing cars, Williams would be tricked. They would be just pretty much unknowing on what they really have in that car. They would be deceived. But because Albon was able to show them the vast difference of a driver who can manage, a driver who can think, and a driver who can perform compared to Logan underperforming, wrecking cars, spending the most, costing the most impact against the cost cap over $4 million, they were able to see, okay, it's not the car, it's the driver. We're actually going in a good direction. Albon is showing that. Musa, what's going on? What's up, bro? So yeah, they showed that. So in this sense, a team that seems like they're starting to gain some ground, the cost cap can indeed hinder them because they can only spend so much money, as well as other teams that might run into a stumble as far as development and not able to spend the amount of money they need to catch up to the rest of the grid within a competitive season. So there are some pros and cons to the cost cap. In all, I think I would be, I'm in support of the concept of the cost cap. I do believe that just like the sprint race format, just like several other things in Formula One, I believe that the cost cap regulations need to be adjusted to facilitate teams that are way behind in either facilities or development over the course of a few seasons. Teams like Williams, teams like Haas, okay, that have underperformed. And Haas, don't get it twisted. Haas got a ticket. Haas Innovations is not broke. They're not broke by any means. All right. Don't get it twisted. But especially teams like Williams. I mean, this team, if you go back and look in history, I mean, Frank was literally making calls in a phone booth. He was literally running a team out of what used to be a carpet factory. He was literally running a team as if it was a garage team. Like it was a real in the mud type team as it was developed. He lost the team, or should I say he sold the team. Then he got fired from his own team after selling, and he had to take money and then go get another team. But teams like this is where the FIA need to consider the cost cap regulations need to be adjusted. They need to be adjusted so they can put money into the facility without being penalized. So they can put a bit more money into the development without being penalized. Especially if a team like Williams shows we went through the hardship. Don't forget, they also had a procedural breach when it came to the cost cap regulations. It was a breach that definitely was, it should have been their responsibility to be sure the third party did what was needed to be done. It didn't happen. They owned up to it. They paid the fine. They paid the dues. They did what they were supposed to do. It is what it is. But when you have a team like Williams that has shown you we are taking steps to become a competitive team, we are taking steps to try to get drivers in the door and in these seats that will give us a competitive drive. We are taking steps to add to our organization in such a way that we will become a staple within the Formula One ecosystem. I think that there are things that need to be adjusted there. I just do. And that's my opinion, okay? That's my opinion. Don't forget all super chats that are done in this live up until the live where I do the next wheel spin for another Purple Sectors hat will be put on the wheel, okay? So do not forget that. If you do 3 super chats, that's 3 more times your name's on the wheel. If throughout this time, through a certain amount of lives, you've done 8 super chats, then 8 times your name will be on that wheel. So do keep that in mind. We already had somebody win a hat, ship that out. I think it was King Reem got the hat. I shipped that out to him. So we got 3 more hats that I'm going to give away and on the wheel spin. So keep that in mind as well. So let's get to struggling teams like Haas, Alpine, Williams, and even Sauber right now, okay? So I already spoke a bit to Williams, so I'll leave that where it is. Williams is coming up. I know a lot of people were very critical of them, especially when they saw the floor and were like, that is so simplistic. It's gotta be a joke. But Williams still did their thing. Okay, so then we come to Alpine. Alpine collecting a boatload of money. Jeff, what's going on, big bro? I see you with the super sticker. Alpine collecting a boatload of money through several minor ownerships that are coming in. You had Kelsey, you got, I think, Patrick Mahomes, Joshua, a few other people that were in there. And that is a good thing, right? But you still have to know, what are you going to do with this money? It looked good. It sounded good. It gave you a headline, okay? Great. Before then, you had Michael B. Jordan, McAfee, and Reynolds. Great. You got a star-studded investment group that's on board with contributing money, which they got a boatload of money that had been reported, right? But now what are you going to do with it? Do you know how to spend this money? Everybody that gets money doesn't necessarily know how to spend money. And sometimes spending money means you invest money to make more money. And in this case, for a Formula One team, we're looking to see if Alpine can put money in place so that they can then in turn see performance in a race. That's what we're looking for. Before they were best of the rest, this season they were crap. All right. And I'm not even too sure that their driver pairing is going to be productive for them. You knew a long time ago these two already had a rivalry. It stemmed from karting days as kids. They lightweight didn't mess with each other going through the ranks of Formula One. And it's proven even this season that there are issues between those two drivers. Sylvia Kelly just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Let's hope next year is better in F1. That's all we can hope, Sylvia. That's all we can hope. All we can hope is that it does get better in several ways. I do think that there are some things that are occurring right now that we are seeing reported in certain outlets that might show us that it might not get better. It might get worse before it gets better. It might get worse before we ever see that maybe it's not so bad. And that's just a reality in my opinion. I think Formula One is running in a direction that will soon bite them in the ass if they don't head it off. But I do hope to see a better season. I do hope to see a more competitive season. I think as of right now, the only driver that I can see that might change later in the season could be Logan. Could be Logan. Maybe even Danny Rick. Maybe. All right. But honestly, I think everything else is going to be solid. We got all the same drivers coming back to the grid. So that's going to be interesting because now that we can at least remove those variables of seeing what's up with the car. Okay, these same drivers we saw last season, so we know how they perform. So if we don't see an increase, okay, it's probably likely not them. It might be the car in development, unless a driver just falls the hell off, which I doubt it. So at this point in time, versus if you had a new driver in, you don't know, it's an unknown variable. You don't know what can happen, if they're good or they're bad. It's kind of like the situation at Williams. Logan comes in, Albon's in, and you got that whole situation. We didn't know what Logan was going to be, and Logan proved out not to be so good. He's going to get another opportunity. So now we're going to be able to see, will he be able to hit the same or similar benchmarks as Albon did this season, next season? That's where I believe Logan's goals are. I think those are his targets. Sylvia Witt Kelly just became Mrs. Claus in the chat line, gifting 5 people with Wolfpack memberships. And because Sylvia Witt Kelly has done that, I'm going to make a note that she will have her name additional 5 times in the wheel spin, because those are 5 memberships. So I'm going to include that as 5 individual super chats. So Sylvia Witt Kelly, I will be sure to make a note and put your name on that wheel 5 additional times for that right there. I got the note right here. I'm going to put it right here so I don't forget. Got you. Yes, I will definitely do that. That's only fair. 5 memberships. So who got it? Lewis Beer, you just got a Wolfpack. Urza, we saw him often in F1 Minute, which will be coming back next season about midway through. So be ready for F1 Minute as that's going to approach. A very good episode, very good segment where it includes you into the content creation. Ernest Collins, you just got gifted on Christmas with a Wolfpack membership. Carlos, you just got gifted. And Seven City, you just got gifted with a Wolfpack membership. Merry Christmas to all 5 of you, courtesy of Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out to you for doing that. Yes, you got Lewis. I know it, right? It's so random. I had wrote several reviews to YouTube and asked them, can they make it to where you can pick who you want to issue memberships to, but they don't. And I think it just goes out to anybody who's a subscriber of the channel, which is, it's a cool thing because new people get to come in and we never know what they're going to do. But do not forget, Sylvia Wick's gift is a month-lasting gift. You need to make sure that what you do is continue that gift on for several months so that you will have constant access to the family, to information, to the Discord, and even be able to get into the Championship Racing Series at some point in time as we do another one. All right. Big shout out to Sylvia Witt Kelly. So as I was saying, the Alpine has to figure out what they're going to do. Honestly, I don't have a lot of confidence in them. They've shown us that as a company, at least as an organization, that they need assistance. They have made several mistakes that have crippled them. Alonso got out the window, and regardless of how you feel about Alonso, he is a catalyst that can show you that where your car is or where your team is. He did that for Aston, collecting 8 podiums in the season, while Lance Stroll collected not a damn thing. They let a superstar rookie who also got Rookie of the Year, and Oscar Piastri, they let him get out the door because they didn't handle their paperwork correctly. They put a little bit too much hope in Alonso, and they should have been focused on their future. And they let Piastri get out, and they tried to lock him in unfairly, and Piastri wasn't having it. And we saw this season what he was able to do for McLaren. They could have used that if they would have been able to do something. They could have used that. Oscar Piastri showed that McLaren did right by fighting for joint custody, for sole custody of him, actually, and it yielded them some good benefits. So Alpine had to step up. Then the next team that I think is on my radar is Sauber. We already know Alfa Romeo's hopping off. They're supposed to be going to Haas. Whether that happens or not, who gives a damn about that over there? But Sauber right now, with Kickstake or however they're going to coin their car for their sponsorship, is on approach to have Audi come in as the new team. And that right there is on my radar. I'm really not looking too much to see what Alfa Romeo does as far as performance on track, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of that to be seen unless, they're going to start, doing tests. I'm really not expecting a lot. But what I am expecting to see is some news and some reports on key changes that are going to be either being in place at Sauber or coming to Sauber to kind of give us a glimpse of Audi and how they're going to enter the sport and maybe what this team might be as far as foundation once they kick off. I think it's unfair to suggest that Audi or even Porsche had come in, that they all of a sudden hit the ground just running the first season. I'm definitely giving them the first season. I know Porsche has been involved in several racing series for a long time. They're a heritage racing team. They're not here. Audi is. To me, that's really no different. They're under the same group as far as Volkswagen. I look at it the same, but the only thing I do look at is Audi. That shit fails a lot. And Porsche is really a race-built, inspired car that does have its problems, but damn it, it looks good, it runs hard, and it damn performs well. So there are some differences right there. So yeah, I'm going to be looking to see what Sauber's doing going forward as Audi's getting ready to come in, because next season we will be just 2 more seasons off that complete entry and the new regs. So then we get into the teams that we are looking forward to either seeing them make a huge leap forward or continue their strides in the next season. And I'm going to say continuing their strides would have to go to McLaren in the next season. McLaren showed us on the back half of this season that they got their stuff together. We knew that they were not confident coming into 2023. We knew that the livery launch was a little bit lackluster. We knew that they had delays on their sim. They had delays on their wind tunnel. We knew that there were several obstacles and challenges that posed towards McLaren that definitely hindered them in the earlier part of the season. I don't think any of us at some point in time were too confident if they were going to be able to gain their footing. However, McLaren did gain their footing, and they gained it in a massive way, kicking off with podiums for both drivers, in a rookie and Oscar Piastri getting his first podium, getting a sprint race win. Those were very good key milestone moments in 2023, and I only expect them to continue those moments and continue that progress and continue that growth to show us that they will be a competitive team that will rival Red Bull and anybody else at the top. They do have a situation they need to work out with Lando being a goddamn doorman for Max Verstappen more often than not. I understand people, oh, well, it's not his race. It's always your race. I understand the strategy, but at some point in time, strategy has to be to let the other person know that when it's time, it's going to be on go. It is going to be on go. I am going to show you what you have to look forward to at least once, maybe even twice. When I get the real car up under me, when I get a real power unit, when I get real aero development, when I have a car that equals or exceeds your pace, I'm going to give you a glimpse of what the hell is going to happen. Because when I do get there, I want you to be very concerned about what you will have to lose as well as I will have to lose, knowing that I am highly competitive. Lando needs to do that. That needs to happen. Charles needs to do that. That needs to happen. Charles talked all that shit toward the beginning. He's not going to take anything from Max. And you damn near let Max run you off the track, through pit lane, through the paddock, through the damn front gate, and into the goddamn parking lot off the start of that race. That's not what I call not taking shit from anybody. Charles, you took a lot. All right? Somebody got to stand up tall. Somebody got to stand up. Just saying, the only driver that I legitimately saw stand up to Red Bull and actually cause contact where it sacrificed both races was Russell. I know how we feel about him, but it was Russell, and I think that was in Baku. All right? Max complained and cried about it. But you know what? Russell stayed in there. That's what you got to do. You got to make, and you could tell Max was upset, but you could tell also Max had to rethink this shit like, I might not want to play the shenanigans when I get next to Russell because he's going to make me pay for it. And I got to finish this race. I got the strongest car. I got the fastest car, whatever kind of car you want to call it, most dominant car. But if he causes enough damage because he's not going to yield, me having the fastest car won't damn matter. I'll still end up in the pits for an unnecessary time that's going to cost me my position, or I'll end up getting retired because the car will no longer be able to continue. These are things that drivers need to consider if they're going to race against Max Verstappen in the RB19, now coming to RB20, if that's what they're going to call it next season. You just got to do something like that. You do. Okay. So the team that I say would need to make a leap and bound forward is no doubt Mercedes. And Mercedes is held to a different standard because they're different. Mercedes is held to a high standard because they're great. Mercedes is going to be judged very differently and very harsh, next season come testing. Last season before that, it was all about, okay, they sandbagging. Then it was all about, okay, Mercedes still got it. No, they get none of that. You get none of that. Third time is not the charm. Third time is where, hey, first time you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Hey, you're not finna fool me again. You're not finna fool me again. You're going to have to earn the respect that should be given to you based on what you do coming up. I want to see legitimate data that says they are on point. We're not doing any more of this hopes and dreams bullshit. We're not doing any more hopes and dreams Mercedes. We're not doing any more, oh, Mercedes. No, Mercedes needs to show us that they got their stuff together. Mercedes needs to show us that the development is on point. Mercedes needs to show us that the strategy is together. Mercedes needs to show us that you can come into the pits, get a good pit time, get back out and keep position, beating the undercut. Mercedes has a lot to show. They've shown us a lot in the past, but that's gone now. Okay, that's then. It's great. It gives you some leeway and consideration, but coming into a third season where you've made a shitbox car for at least 2.5 seasons and still lightweight a peep car this season, you are under surveillance in a massive way. It's only fair. It's only fair. It's only tough love, though. It's only tough love. It is only tough love. And I'm going to tell you this. People out there that just want to consistently say race in and race out because of our hopes or dreams. Mercedes is going, this is the race. No, we're not doing that no more. We can't do that no more. All right, I don't care about Lewis Hamilton smiling about the damn car. I don't care about him dancing in the car. What I care about is where he finishes in the car. What I care about is if he's comfortable and believes and he's confident in the car. That's what I care about. What I care about is that he says and he's expressed through data and telemetry that he can take this car to the edge confidently and get all the pace he needs, period. That's what I care about. As we should with any driver, okay? But the truth is, once a driver's reached and once a team has reached the status that Mercedes has throughout the course of Formula One history and seasons, you give them leeway because they earned it. They earned it. But just because you were a constructor champion for 8 seasons, you were a driver champion for 7 seasons. By the way, we're going to heavily criticize Mercedes more than Lewis Hamilton because Lewis Hamilton had to do far more work to put that car in position than Mercedes was doing and able to put Lewis Hamilton in position. That's also only fair. That's also only fair. Mercedes dropped the ball. Lewis didn't all of a sudden lose his ability to drive. Lewis didn't all of a sudden lose all the experience and information that he holds up here just in the tour. He didn't lose all that. What happened was the team failed him. Development failed him. Toto Wolff didn't support him as good as he needed to be, period. That's what happened. That's the real. So 2024, it's time to get your grills on and go to work. For real, for real. It's a done deal at this point in time. We're looking for some real upcoming, upchucking, rubber busting. We're looking for all that and some come 2024. I am looking for Red Bull. I'm looking for Mercedes. I'm looking for McLaren. I'm looking for Ferrari. I am looking for Aston Martin. I am looking for 5 teams to make such a stride that the 2024 season leaves us surprised week in and week out. That is what I'm looking for. I am looking for a season in Formula One where it is ultimately competitive, that we have no idea who's going to come out on top. That is what I'm looking for. That is good competition. Not to say dynasties don't happen, because it does happen and I don't hate it, but let's just be fair. For overall, like, I could still watch it. I watched every race while Red Bull was dominant, and I still enjoyed every race as I would have to a degree watching certain things that happened in the race. But let's not be fooled. Had there been such a battle as if we had in qualifying was the most competitive. We had no clue sometimes, understand Max Verstappen, but it was so changing. It was so many variables. It was so many swapping of drivers in first and pole position. I would dare say that qualifying was more entertaining as far as competition than any race was this past season. That's just my opinion. So I'm looking for that same shift in the Formula One race, week in, week out. That is what I'm looking for, straight up. I'm just being real, honestly, and I can't even say I'm gonna go to a Formula One race this coming up season. I was planning to do 2 or 3, but I can't even say I might do one. I don't even know. Only reason I might do one is because of the segment that I run while I'm there, and it definitely probably will not be. If I do a race this season, it won't be COTA. It'll be a different race. It might be Miami, it might be Vegas, it might be Mexico, it might be Brazil. It might be one of those. But it won't be COTA. I've already done COTA, twice. I'm not gonna do COTA again back to back. We're gonna go to a different circuit and check those people out. Holler at a different group of people. You know what I'm saying? Take Wolfpack on the road, see what happens on that. So, like I said, I just want to get on, say Merry Christmas to you all. I hope that you all are having an excellent day. I hope your day started off. I hope you at least got at least one thing that you wanted or that you needed. Sometimes what you need is better than what you want. I broke my Apple Watch in travel over the course of the week while I was traveling, and I got a new Apple Watch. So I'm very pleased with that because I wear my Apple Watch every day for data, for metrics, for goals, all types of stuff. My Apple Watch is very, very impactful in my life as far as what I use it for. So yeah, I'm definitely pleased for that, but I'm not even putting it on until I get a case for it. So I'm going to look for me a case when I get off of here. I already made pancakes this morning. I made chocolate chip pancakes. I made peanut butter and Reese pancakes, and the baby got her new 2024 race cart. So for all members, you will be able to see that. I likely will post either a video or a short or a picture in the members only group, or put it in the Discord so you all can see what the new cart looks like with the Wolfpack design and everything else on it. So big shout out to everybody that showed up this morning for a Christmas live. Big shout out to everybody that supports the channel. Big shout out to everybody that encourages me. Big shout out to everybody that fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't. I dealt with some real clowns. I dealt with some real fake ass people in this arena of content creation, and I've dealt with some real ones in this arena. I consistently still do content with them, and it's awesome to know real people. I got an awesome opportunity to meet my bro and the fam over from the UK, and Nasha and Tandy, and met Tasha and Mario. You know what I'm saying? It was really cool to meet those people in person and just, put my hands around and embrace Nasha and Tandy and Tasha and them for coming over and just doing content in that state. And it was awesome for us that we did the show together, and even that they had the consideration to invite me as a special guest. Very good, very, very valuable and priceless moment in my career of content creation. And so that was very appreciative. So definitely at some point in time, I'm going to be trying to get over to the UK and do something with the fam over there, as well as my Wolfpack UK fam that's in that area. So that's going to be another goal for me, is to get over to the UK and do that. DG Big Blue, what's going on, Jay? You should go to the GP in Canada. That's another one. Don't forget the Canadian GP. So that is another one as well. Definitely might do that one because I do like Canada's setup. So thank you, DG. That also will be on there because I've been to Canada, but I have not been to a race in Canada. So that right there might be something that I'm really going to focus on, honestly. Shout out to you for that one, bro. I might really, for real, no bullshit. Damn, you just hit me. I might do Canada instead. Definitely. But I'm also looking at that Brazil one too. Brazil and Mexico, but Brazil, Canada, yeah, definitely. So we'll look at that. Galactus, happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy your day. Big shout out to Galactus. Big shout out to Sylvia Wick. Big shout out to Jeff Allen. What's going on, Musa? Everybody in the live chat, y'all make sure y'all have an awesome Christmas, an awesome day, and an awesome week. We got the New Year's coming up, so we will be live for that before then. And we're going to have another race coming up. Round 2 will be coming up as well. All drivers have the calendar. You know what race to focus on next. Go ahead and make sure that you start practicing on that track, because this race is going to be reverse grid. So all drivers that collected points, it's reversing out. The drivers that collected points in the middle, you're not impacted so much. You're going to start in the middle of the pack, but drivers that got the most points are going to be starting at the back. And this is something that I do think Formula One need to go ahead and implement in the sprint races. Reverse grid. Well, we're going to do it here at Wolfpack because we're about trying good shit that breeds good competition. So without that being said, Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. Peace out.